Hi everyone, it's Rax. Grinding Gear Games just released their patch notes for the patch that's actually coming later today. That's going to make the game a lot better, and there's virtually almost zero nerfs here. It's just making the game better. And they have 17 pages of patch notes here for us to chew through. But I don't think that's why you guys come to my channel. You don't want to sit here and have me read every single line to you. So I did something that I think is going to speed up everything. I copied it over to Word and I highlighted in orange, I think, the super important things, so we can skip, I don't know, maybe 75% of it. Of course, if you want to read the entire thing, you can. Actually, it's 18 pages. So let's get started. So in the end game, there's 4 new tower maps, and they made the original Lost Tower maps a lot better, as they explained in their campfire, or whatever they call it, the release video. And this is important because if you watched my video about how the endgame works, I think towers were by far the worst thing, not only in the endgame, but probably in the entire game. So the fact that they recognized that, added a bunch of new stuff to it, is amazing. The pinnacle boss, you only have 1 attempt, and now you have 6. And then they say higher difficulties will lower the number of respawns that you have, and you're going to get more attempts at the other pinnacle content as well. They're going to build that in for you. So when you get to the very end of the end game, you're going to have more chances. There's now checkpoints and map areas to teleport around and finish the objectives faster. They're going to have at least 3 rare monsters. The citadels, which are the things required to spawn the pinnacle boss, can now spawn closer to the beginning, and the visibility of them on the endgame map is massive now. I hunted for 2 weeks and only found 1 citadel. And when they showed how it works now, you can actually see a big beam of light in the fog of war. So it's probably going to be significantly easier to find the citadels and get to the pinnacle boss. That's very good news for, well, everyone, but mostly the casual players, because if you're wandering around randomly, you're never going to get to see the pinnacle content without this change. So maps now display their biome. This is important because sometimes the biome will have specific things attached to it that you might want to farm. There's a new tablet, and it's a currency. It can be put in towers to add map bosses. And so that will be very strong, because sometimes the map bosses, well, a lot of the times they drop the very best loot. So that'll be very good. The map area has been adjusted to have more distinct specialties. So as you learn more about how the maps work and the different biomes and all this stuff, you'll be able to target farm even more. This is a great change. So some of the things that they've added, double the number of chests, twice as many magic or rare chests, up to double the number of monsters, more magic monsters, more rare monsters, higher minimum number of rare monsters, lower minimum amount, more essences, strong boxes, and shrines. This is supposed to be in the game from the beginning, but it just didn't work out that way. You're supposed to get a boss about 1 in 4 maps. It was lower than that, so now they made it actually 1 in 4. So you're going to get more bosses. In general, that's a good thing, because again, when you get your build rolling, you get your magic find rolling, their rarity, the bosses drop the best loot. Usually just one-shot them anyway, so when you get a good build. Let's move down to monster changes. There's some skill changes there. I'll post a link to the real patch notes if you want to read the other stuff, but I want to hit the highlights here. Monster changes. Small delay before monsters are released from essences. Man, I'm playing hardcore SSF. You know when you click those essences and you like break them out of the ice and they just attack you instantly? That feels kind of bad. So now that they have a small delay, this is a great change. I always say in hardcore SSF, I think Ruja is I would say probably the most dangerous boss in the campaign, because she lunges forward and she swings, and if she hits you with that like 6 swingy attack, it's almost always an instant death. I actually don't know if that actually is her grenades attack, but at least Ruja got nerfed in some way. Ruja, I think, is absolutely crazy. She's the fire girl in at the beginning of Act 2. Reduce the leaf distance of the vile vultures. Those have got to be those birds in Act 2, right? Dude, those birds, like you turn the corner, they jump across the entire screen. They just pretty much almost one-shot you every time. So I'm glad that they have reduced their distance there. The rotting hulks. These have got to be those guys like the Jabba the Hutts that they shoot pus out of their belly button. If you stand in front of it, you just insta die. I think it's got to be chaos damage, I'm guessing. You just die to him instantly. So now it does less damage, and they can't use it if you're point blank in front of you. That's good news for melee. The Colossus, the attacks now more closely match the visual effects. A lot of people have been getting killed by buggy stuff with the Colossus, and now the player targeting is better, and the arms are no longer targetable. The Colossus definitely had some big problems. I saw Steel Mage very savagely got one-shotted by him, and he had a godly character, so I'm glad they're making changes there. The tornadoes, this was definitely the most powerful and ridiculous attack in the game. I believe it killed Quinn, killed DM, and it killed me in hardcore. So now it's going to more closely match the visuals. It's going to push you slightly away. This is I'm pretty sure this is the tornado bird in Ultimatum, right? Insane boss. So this definitely needed to come down. Good to see. I believe this is the final boss of Act 2. And when you would like beat them, they would like have a non-death explosion that would kill people, and that I think that actually impacted a lot of people not being able to get the material from the Citadel. So this is good that this is removed. And then this is the big King Kong gorilla in Act 3. The rolling thing does so much damage, so they reduced it. That's good. Utzel, I believe, is in the second, when you go to the second part of Act 3, it's going to have less density of monsters. This is like one of the biggest and most insane zones. Same with the Dreadnought, which is at the end of Act 2. A lot of people hate this area, so you're going to get less swarming and actually going to be able to navigate that moving caravan on the Dreadnought right before the boss. Okay, they improved the visual effects from monsters affected by essence of electricity, so the time before the area of effect explodes have been increased, and the volatile plants are much more noticeable before and as they're about to explode, as long as elemental explosions caused by minion death or periodically cast by a rare monster have their visuals improved, and the delay before the explosions has been increased. So a lot of this to me is either not necessarily either on death effects or the effects that are just charging up, that are blowing up. I saw Karn died at 99 to something that you actually couldn't even see. So these on-death explosions, or these ticking time bombs, or these bombs on the ground that are probably killing a lot of you, are going to have increased visuals and increased timing to have you get away. I guess that's better than nothing. A lot of people are calling for them to be removed from the game entirely, but if they remove everything from the game, I understand, then nothing is going to kill you. So we'll take it as a start. You can migrate from SSF League to the parent league. So that might be good. Like if you start SSF, you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Now you can migrate. Strong boxes have been adjusted to the spawns of enemies is going to be over a shorter period of time. Dude, strong boxes are kind of brutal in POE2 right now. You open it and you sit there and you wait. It takes forever. Very good change. Charms now play an effect on your character, and when they're automatically used. Sorry, it's 2 a.m. My bad. They showed this in their video. It looked really good, so that's going to be amazing. Socketables such as runes can be overwritten by placing another socketable into the socket. So what that means to me is you're going to lose the original one, but that's okay. At least we can override it, so that's amazing. Flasks with quality can now be salvaged. That's important, so make sure you're salvaging them at the bench or wherever you're going to do that. Armor has been made more effective by approximately 15%. Now, I know a lot of you guys maybe struggle with math, so I can help you here. I drew it in paint. So armor's old value was essentially 0, and now it's 15% better. So 0 times 1.15 is 0. So it's still completely useless. They said that they're going to have to do a major overhaul of it in the future. So armor is probably still going to be terrible. Increase the chance for omens to appear as ritual rewards. This is like the best thing you can get from ritual, other than getting the actual invite to fight the bosses, right? So the omens will be very good and will be important for things like crafting. Reduce the visual clutter in many maps to improve the visibility of skills and effects. Visual clutter is a huge problem. They have said that they don't want to add a game mode where visual clutter is just kind of reduced. They said that they prefer to build it into the game itself. So this is them doing that. You can now add Alva to gamble in your hideout. A lot of people are going to love that who are in the end game. Reviving minions that died from being out of range of you now instead immediately revive near you. This is going to be huge for minion players. They'll appreciate that. Charms now display the number of charges when they're active. The world map icons for when you complete a quest has been updated when the encounter is found to make it more clear that they've been completed. Good for honestly probably everybody, but especially new players. Reduce more screen clutter and improve performance that affects that plays when killing a rare monster in the endgame maps. Yeah, that little, I don't know what it is. Like, I can't ever tell if it's just like a visual thing or if it's like an on-death explosion. I'm so paranoid after playing POE2 for a month that every time I kill something, it's just going to blow up and kill me. So I'm glad that they're toning this down. Burning Ground can't spawn underneath interactables like levers. They got to be talking about Augury there. I wish Augury would just get removed. Monsters can no longer spawn near the close to the entrance of the map. Sometimes when you spawn in like a middle of an outdoor map in the endgame, you're actually completely surrounded. First step you take, first action you press, you're actually swarmed. So this is a good change that they're not going to attack you instantly. They tried to upgrade it. They updated 1 million unique items. I didn't see any of them that were super crazy to call out. So let's go down to bug fixes. Fixed a bug where concoction skills were considered bow skills, and as a result, they could be affected by increased damage with bow skills mods on quivers. This might not be a big deal to everybody, but I'm playing this build right now, so I'm sad. I'm crying over here. Concoction skills can't benefit from plus damage to bow skills anymore. They mentioned that some of the best bows couldn't roll attack speed. Some of the best rings couldn't roll life. So that probably is very upsetting to people that are in the endgame trying to mess around with these things. And a lot of people are playing lightning arrow and stuff like that. But they fixed it. That's what early access is for. So that's cool. Thanks for fixing it. Fixed a bug where crossbows could fail to reload if the player did not have enough mana available. There's another crossbow thing right here where they could fail to reload when spamming the ability when using a controller. And I have a feeling there's even more things about crossbows. I did a crossbow playthrough and I was saying like the crossbow reload felt kind of janky. It felt like it didn't work sometimes, felt like your gun was jamming. So yeah, it is actually failing to reload in different instances and they're catching them and fixing them. That's a start to fixing some of the crossbow problems. Controller improvements. I don't play with controller. I tried to highlight a couple of things that I thought might be really important to you guys. The game now pauses by default if a controller becomes disconnected, with an option in the game tab to instead disconnect. So that seems nice. Auto targeting no longer aggressively prioritizes larger enemies and objects like the Tempest Bell. I mean, that sounds good. That sounds like that was annoying, even though I never experienced it. Switching to controller input on a character that was created with keyboard and mouse no longer results in the character having no actions bound. That had to be super annoying for anybody who that happened to. Console improvements, the number one thing I've been asked for from console players the whole time. Now you have an item filter. You subscribe to a filter on the POE website, and there you go. There's also a link to set up an item filter that's provided in the filters section of the settings menu under the game tab. So there we go. Console has a loot filter, super important for at least the end game. Hopefully that makes you really happy. And down here, adding multiple respawns to other Pinnacle content is coming. They're going to get to it in future patches. And finally, the map and Waystone stash tab is also coming very soon. They said when they talked about it earlier that they're already working on it. So that's 17 pages of patch notes condensed into 14 minutes. 14 minutes is in 5 seconds, so I'm going to end the video right now. Thank you. I hope you enjoy Path of Exile. Bye.